Alright guys, let's see how we can apply for the G-Kurs of Studienkolleg Mittelhessen through University of Marburg or University of Gießen. I'm not going to go for TH Mittelhessen because it's a Technische Hochschule, it's a technical university. And the likelihood that you end up in a G-Course is almost zero. Okay, there are courses which accept you if you have a G-Kurs access or university entrance qualification. That's another story. But if you want to end up in a G-Course, forget about TH Mittelhessen, I would say. Stick to University of Marburg and University of Gießen. In this lecture, we show you how to do that. Here, go to uni-assist.de. Make sure you're logged in. Here you can click on My Assist. I'm already logged in. If you're not logged in, you'll be asked to log in. And then you have this selection mask here or filter. All right, let's do it step by step together. First of all, semester. You see, now we are in April 2021, and it's impossible to apply for any university for summer semester 2021 anymore. But it's still here, which is very misleading, you know? So watch out. Choose the semester that you want to apply for very wisely and correctly. Here, I go for winter semester. There you go. And then, here I say erweiterte Suche. By the way, up here on the right-hand side, you can check the language and you can switch to English. But now that you're applying, I assume that you know a little bit of German. So let's see this as a practice, so to speak. And also, because in German, the terminologies of the programs are very exact. Very exact. They are not a translation. So Betriebswirtschaftslehre is not translated into business administration. It's Betriebswirtschaftslehre, and I choose it correctly. Whereas business administration may have two programs, one in English and one in German. And then when it's translated into English, both of them show business administration, and then we are sort of lost, right? I have had that case. I was sitting at Uni-Assist, people were applying for a program at the university, which was an English program, but they meant the German program or other way around. And we had to reject them, which is stupid, right? So again, you click on Erweiterte Suche here, the extended search, there you go. You say Abschluss, choose Studienkolleg if you can. But the problem is you can't. There is no Studienkolleg here, which is very mean, I think. Well, I mean, why should the Studienkolleg applicants be completely ignored at this level? I don't know why it is, and I'm sorry for that on behalf of Uni-Assist, but let's select the bachelor's. That's the thing. Basically, you need to apply for the bachelor's degree. And then they say, oh, wait a second, you have indirect university entrance qualification. And then they check you and your profile and your application based on the Studienkolleg requirements. Now, that said, let's select the university here. Let's go for Gießen first. Gießen. Justus Liebig Universität Gießen. Select. The programs of Uni Gießen come down here. You see one to many pages, right? We don't want that. We want to select the program that we want. What we go for is Rechtswissenschaften. Rechtwiss. I'm sorry, there was no S. Recht. Let's see, what is going on? You see, the problem is the bachelor. Actually, the Rechtswissenschaften is not a bachelor program. It's a Staatsexamen. Staatsexamen is a kind of program which is like all bachelors and masters together for medicine, for psychology, for Rechtswissenschaften or Jura, for becoming a teacher, Lehramt. It's all the case. It's called Staatsexamen. And in the end, you need to do a state exam to be qualified for that kind of job. That's why it's called Staatsexamen. So excuse my mistake, but I don't delete this video. I want you to see that based on the mistakes that I make, I can notice that something is wrong and I can correct it. And this is a part of this course for you to also see how things can go wrong and how quickly you can adjust them and rescue them again, so to speak. Okay, Staatsexamen, Justus Liebig Universität Gießen, Wintersemester 21, richtig. Here we have typed Recht, and you see Rechtswissenschaften. Oh, there is an S. Rechtswissenschaft. Detailsanzeigen, you click there. It's normal stuff. It says it's in Hessen, at the city of Gießen. It's the main study programs, because sometimes you can have two study programs next to each other and stuff. Let's not open that can for now. It's Erststudium. Okay, it's basically after the high school, and then it's Präsenzstudium. So you need to attend the lectures. It's not online or distance studies, and it's full time. All that said, Ortsense, so it's NC. Of course, Rechtswissenschaft is always NC. Becoming a lawyer is always NC in Germany, right? Just like medicine, always NC. Let's click on Mehr. There are a bunch of information here, but let's say if you go to these links, they will mostly mislead you, misinform you. Why? Because they are for the Staatsexamen program, and they are not for Studienkolleg. This actually is a little bit nerve-wracking, because you are the minority. Yes, I understand that. Studienkolleg applicants are the minority. Majority of international students can directly go to bachelor's or Staatsexamen. Okay, but still you are part of the applicants. And the fact that the information is misleading here for you, that is crazy. That's because here they don't have Studienkolleg option, and then the information is not for Studienkolleg anymore. But you have this course, and we have each other. So let's stick to the information that I have given to you. You can check these links, but beware. Have it at the back of your mind that this information are for those who directly enter the university and do not need to go to Studienkolleg. For example, if you go to the Sprachvoraussetzungen, it says that you need a C1. But you don't need a C1 for Studienkolleg, you need a B2. So, that said, be aware of these matters. Now, this is one option. I click on Auswählen. By clicking on Auswählen, here it goes to my basket. I had something in my basket because I expect 1 next to it, not 2. Let's take a look at it. Here, Sozialwissenschaft. I'm sorry. In the previous lecture, I talked about the W course, and social sciences is here. I deleted. Go out of our basket. We want to only have the Rechtswissenschaft, and there we go. We have our basket back. Then let's go back to the Antrag part. Back and back. Oh, sorry. Too many backs. There you go. And here I go this time for, instead of Gießen, I go for Marburg. Philipps Universität Marburg. There you go. And then we have, which program should we apply for? Let's say first Geschichte. Geschichte, erweiterte Suche, Abschluss, Bachelor. Geschichte, there you go. And it's NC-frei. That's cool. That's cool. This program is NC-frei. It's a safe program. It's really safe. I mean, the thing is, actually, if you go and check their information regarding the Bewerbungsleitfaden and Studiengang, they need you to have an English certificate for the bachelor of this program. But at the Studienkolleg level, it's not necessary. Like now, you don't need to hand in any IELTS or TOEFL or something. But later, after you finish the Studienkolleg and you apply, for example, for this program again, for the bachelor's degree, then you must support your documents, your application with some English certificate saying that your English is good enough to study this program, because I assume a good portion of it is in English or something like that. But as of now, April 2021, University of Marburg says, hey, UniAssist, if the applicant wants to go to Studienkolleg or has to go to Studienkolleg, ignore these extra requirements. For example, English, for example, Latin, for example, some kind of internship that some programs need before they start. Ignore those. Send them to the Studienkolleg for now. In the future, this might change, right? So you need to beware of that. You need to either contact the university international office and ask them, or you need to rely on the collective wisdom, our experience. In the Q&A section of this lecture, for example, you can discuss that with other colleagues of yours who might have applied now, right? And we can also check that with the university and write down and give you some hints as well. But for now, this semester, we are good. Okay, I click on Auswählen. I have chosen this one, Geschichte. What else? We can go for other programs as well. For example, Kunstgeschichte. It's the history of art. We can also go for that one. It's also NC-frei. It's also good. Let's click on Auswählen. That's it. It gets added there. Or we can go for Medienwissenschaft, the science of media. Basically, any of these programs end up in the same Studienkolleg. Which one do you want to choose? It should be something that you have a little bit of tendency towards. You will not end up studying this program. Let me clarify this. You go to Studienkolleg G-Kurs for now. And then when you finish the G-Kurs Studienkolleg, the soonest would be 1 year from now, I assume, probably later. then you need to reapply. Even for this very program, you need to reapply with your FSP, with the new documents. So, that said, why do I say you need to have a little bit of tendency to this program then? Because you have to apply anyways again to any university in Germany, so why should you have a tendency? Because if you need visa, then you need to submit a motivation letter. And this motivation letter should have some information about what you want to study and why. So if you want to, in reality, study law, but you apply for Medienwissenschaft, but then you give a motivation letter to embassy, which says you want to study law, the German embassy at any country would say, like, are you kidding me? You have applied for media science, but in your motivation letter, you tell me you want to study law. So apparently you don't know what you're doing, so you need to be beware of this a little bit, right? All that said, let's go to the basket. We have now 4 programs or more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, there you go. All of them end up in the same Studienkolleg. So it's a little bit insanity to keep all of them. Now, beware of one thing. In your case here, it might be red saying offene Pflichtfragen. That means that there are mandatory questions which needs to be answered. In my case, it's green because as you saw for the M and T and W course previously, right before this lecture, I applied and showed it to you guys how this works. Well, probably if you're now attending G-Kurs, you have not listened to the other ones. You shouldn't either. You're all good. But here it should be red, basically. I click on it. In your case, it is red. And the first tab, it says 0 from 0. That means 0 questions out of 0 mandatory questions. But as you can see, there are a lot of questions that are unanswered, but they are not mandatory because they're not red. Please leave them alone. Don't touch them. Don't answer them. It's better for you. If any of them must be answered, your uni-assessed evaluator will answer those based on your documents, which will be much more accurate than you typing something in. Just leave them alone. Go only for the mandatory ones. You are going to submit your documents. I will tell you how. So you don't need to put information again here. You're submitting your certified documents, and that's much better than this. All right? Let's go to the next tab. Apparently here there are 5 questions which must be answered, and 5 out of 5 I have already answered. You see, they are green because I have already answered them, but in your case they are probably red. Let's go through them together. The first question. Beantragen Sie die Aufnahme in einen studienvorbereitenden Deutschkurs der Hochschule zum nächsten möglichen Termin. Do you want to go to German course before the Studienkolleg? You can say yes, you can say no. The best answer is ich weiß es nicht. I don't know. Let me see. Wait a second. I go attend the entry test. If I failed it, I might get help by attending some German course or not. So you keep all the options on the table. The answer would be this one, I would say. Second question. Verfügen Sie über Deutschkenntnisse? Do you know German? Yes. I mean, if you don't know German, how do you want to study in German? Yes, I know German. And here it asks like which level whatsoever. Where did you learn it? Leave it. If it was mandatory, they would have made it mandatory with them making it red and not allowing you to submit the form without answering that. So if it's not mandatory, you can leave it empty. Haben Sie eine Testdaff-Prüfung abgelegt? Have you done the testdaff? If yes, say yes. If no, say no. So both answers are correct, right? Depending on whether you have done testdaff or not. I would say no, I have not done testdaff, for example. Besuchen Sie gegenwärtig einen Deutschkurs? Are you attending a German course right now? This is basically also not very decisive in your admission process. Actually, they need a B2 certificate from you to invite you for the German course. If you don't have that B2 certificate, that's another story. Then they might invite you for the German course. Elsewhere, I have explained that story, right? How you can actually come to Germany and learn German before entering Studienkolleg. And then based on that, you can basically answer these. But I would say you are learning German anyways, I assume, because come on, you are going to have an entry test soon. So you should be learning German on your own or even better with a language class. So the answer would be then in that case, yes. Do you know any English? Verfügen Sie über Englischkenntnisse? Yes. If you didn't know English, you were not listening to me at this point of this course, right? So your English should be pretty good. There you go. The answer is ja. And anything else here is not mandatory. Bam, bam, bam. We leave it out and we say speichern, save. That's it. That's how it's green. When you fill it for one university, for Gießen, for all the applications in Gießen, usually it's going to be green. The same goes with Marburg. Should I go and check? Well, okay, let's go and check the questions. Here, 0 out of 0, we'll leave it empty. 4 out of 4 has been answered. Let's see what it has been. Here, a bunch of questions which are not mandatory, we'll leave them. And here comes the mandatory parts, which were red. Now they are green because I answered. You see, there are 4 times ja, and they don't have an option of 9. So basically, it's signature. You're signing underneath these 4 paragraphs. And you have no other option. So I will explain them very quickly, but we don't have even an option to decide, right? So they say, what are the documents you need to submit here? I have gone through all of that with you. You can read them again, but nothing new, right? Here, Angaben genau wie im Pass. Make sure that your name and stuff is just like your passport. Yes, of course, we have thought of that too, right? Your information needs to be like your passport, obviously. Bestätigung der Angaben. Please just say that the information you have given us is correct. Yes, the information I gave you is correct. And you would agree with the fact that we send you your application results per email. Yes, please. And that's it. I mean, you don't have even the option to choose something else. And then you say speichern, and there you go. You have it. These are basically the case. What else do we need to cover? That's it. I would say 4 applications. It's insanity. You don't need to apply 4 times for the same thing. So I would remove the one from Gießen. Let's keep that for now. From Marburg, let's first delete 2 of those. Which of them should I delete? Let's keep Geschichte. Let's delete the other ones. In your case, I mean, feel free to go for anything, right? As long as you know what you're doing. I'm just bringing up some examples here. Okay, then we have Marburg. Let's see what it says here. Auf Grundlage der von Ihnen gemachten Angaben ist UniAssist für diesen Studiengang nicht für Sie zuständig. Bitte informieren Sie sich bei der betroffenen Hochschule, ob UniAssist in Ihrem Fall. Okay, it says UniAssist is not basically representative for applying for this course. So I don't know what the problem might be here. It might be that we have answered something incorrectly. Beantragen Sie Studien vorbereiten. Let's say ja and see what happens. Verfügen Sie über Deutschkenntnisse? Ja. Haben Sie Tests auf? Nein. Besuchen Sie einen Deutschkurs? Ja. Verfügen Sie über Englisch? Ja. Let's see if that solves the problem. No, that didn't solve the problem. Okay, I don't know what the whole deal is. First of all, you can apply. You can still pay even for this one and apply. And then if UniAssist is really not the entity in charge, they will send the application to the university for you. But then if you see such problems like here, then go for this option here, down there. There you go. I say delete this one, bestätigen, and then I go for that one. The other one would also work, to be honest. But there you go. You have an option, 75 euros if it's the first application. If you have done any other UniAssist applications in this semester, this will be 30 euros. What you need to do is, well, you have everything covered. You go basically to Kasse, and I have explained that. You go and make the payment, and that's it. You have basically applied via UniAssist's online portal through University of Marburg for Studienkolleg Mittelhessen, which happens to be University of Marburg, right? For the G-Kurs, and that's it. You're all good. Apart from that, you need to send in your application documents, right, to UniAssist per post. Don't forget that online application is not enough. They want to see papers, of course. What else, right? Let's take care of that in the next lecture. In the next lecture, I will explain the documents that you need to submit to UniAssist per post, regardless of whether you want to apply for M, W, G, or T course. Stay with us and see you in the next lecture. Ciao.